Hello, Marcela, and thank you so much for accepting this opportunity to interview. So, first of all, could you please present yourself a little bit and tell us like your role in WIMANET and what you're doing?
Okay, so I have been working in landscape ecology since my early times in my career. One of the things that is interesting about landscape ecology is that we are interested in looking at the patterns. What are the spatio-temporal patterns that you have in different ecosystems? And also the other component is to look at the processes. So processes could be, for example, habitat degradation, deforestation. And one of the interesting things between that is, of course, becomes the parasites, the parasitology. So since, I guess, 7 or 10 years, I have been working more and trying to understand these effects of landscape ecology in terms of deforestation, habitat loss, habitat degradation, landscape changes on the effects on the parasites. So this is why there are many, 6 working groups in the WIMANET, and there's one that is actually looking at this component of these global changes. And this is why I start collaborating and being involved in WIMANET.
Perfect. So could you please also tell us what is your experience with WIMANET and what could you highlight for this experience for these 2 years and a half?
So as I mentioned, I am collaborating and involved with the Work Package 4. This has been a great opportunity. You have the option to meet different type of researchers, also to understand what is the different topics and just branches of what is being covered by WIMANET. I think that one of the highlights is that it is a global network in which brings researchers from different parts of the world with different perspectives from molecular analysis, microbiomes. This is something that I am not familiar with, so I have been learning a lot on that. And also you bring the perspective of global change, land use change, which is the one that I have been collaborating and contributing to the network. So in that sense, doing the networking, allowing collaboration, it's some of the highlights that I really appreciate of the network. And the other one is the opportunities for senior researchers, which sometimes you don't get when you are senior, right? Because sometimes it's just focused on young researchers, but to have the possibility for the senior researchers and the young researchers all at the same level has been very valuable. So I just give you an example. My background is not, as I mentioned before, in parasitology. So working on this component of the host vector parasite interaction has been something totally new for me. And I have been supervising the students. I have collaborators where they will focus on that component. But for me, it was important actually to see how these parasites looks like, right? how I can understand this, how I can understand these white blood cells and their importance in their immune responses of the host. So I have the opportunity to do a summer school in which we actually look at the hematology, we learn how to identify the parasites, to identify the different type of white blood cells, and that was absolutely amazing, right? Because otherwise don't have the time and I will not have the opportunity to have this 1 week intense training just focusing on that, and for me that was absolutely great. So having that possibility, I think is one of the highlights.
To become a student again.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, to become a student and actually allocate. I think this is one of the importance. Allocate that intense week in which you just focus on one thing. It's very great.
Okay, in this sense, this line. The same question, but for future generations. On what opportunity do you think WIMANET is giving for future generation of researchers?
So this is one of the components that I think is highly appreciated by students. So we are currently in the workshop Also, one component is to hear about the experiences of the young researchers, senior researchers, and so on. And in particular for young researchers, there are several things that are very important for that generation. The first one I consider is amazing is the short-term scientific mission, right? In which they can spend between 7 days to 90 days. They identify a research lab in which maybe they have an equipment or a technique or one particular part that they do not have in their home institution. So they can spend the time there, do research for this period of time, create some collaboration, know different people, also know different ways that the university works, working groups work. And I think this has been very nice. We have heard some of those experiences during the workshop, and they seem that is just changing the life of these people, literally. So this is one thing. The other thing is regarding workshops, right? So the workshops that we are having currently brings also the opportunity for the students to showcase and to present their research. This is something that usually students don't like to do much, or maybe they are not exposed to do, right? Express and to talk about research is not something that comes by, by default.
Yeah.
It's something that you need to practice, that you need to work in it, that you need to be exposed, right? Not only to present your research, but also to see how people are criticizing, right? How they are giving you feedback. What could be things that you can incorporate that maybe you didn't thought about, and have this discussion on one-to-one with senior researchers, with other students, I think is very valuable. So this is the other one. And the third one is also the funding that is being provided not only for these scientific missions, but also to attend to different conferences, right? So we are here at the workshop. We have around, 60, 70 people that are contribute in a network that is very nice, very friendly, very supportive for the students. But it's also important to expose, as a young researcher, the next generation to this other type of conference in which you have, 1,000 people with very different backgrounds to be able to again expose yourself and create this collaboration, because at the end of the day, this is how you are going to be growing in your academic career.
Okay, thank you for this interview. And now we are going to do this funny question that I haven't thought about. So for you, the one that I have think is, could you please tell us which is the most funny thing or strange thing happened to you during the fieldwork that you have been done during your career? If you could, because I know you have been traveling a lot, and maybe you can remember something that happened to you at some point during the fieldwork in a different country or even in your home country, I don't know. Mm-hmm. So if you can remember something.
Okay, let's see. Fieldwork. So regarding fieldwork, we usually work with birds, right? Mm-hmm. So when we work with birds, that means you have to wake up very early, right? Because when you open your nets, you need to make sure that when you open the nets, this happens actually before the sun rises, right? So this implies that the group of people, of collaborators, and this could be students or local researchers and collaborators, they also need to do that. So usually this is something that might be strange for some people, so because they are accustomed for maybe some regular office times that you start working at 9. So we have some instances in which people they don't show up.
Oh no!
So this is what you start saying, okay, should we just go and leave them behind, or should we just wait and then you start dealing with the issues that you do not open the nets. So last time we did some fieldwork in Bhutan, and we have a group of foresters that they were going to be supporting us, and they were totally asleep. So we have one of the colleagues just knocking the door, and it's like, we are there, and they were immediately in 2 minutes there, all the sleeper. And yeah, so it's like that was the first morning that we have to do that, and they were the first one in the next mornings. Yes, I think it's something difficult when you are not accustomed to that, but yeah, it could be stressful, but also funny from ours, because we are there waiting and waiting. They're sleeping, and it's like we have to go. So yeah, this is something that might be interesting. For everybody. Just be on time. Be on time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marcela.
Okay, you're welcome.